Gambling Services at the Ohio Casino Control Commission, joins us on Ohio Sports Magazine to talk about this problem. Mike, how big of a problem is betting-related athlete harassment?
It's actually far bigger than people may think. You know, you mentioned the numbers, 4,000 just in last year's March Madness tournament. You know, that's just a fraction. That's just a couple weeks long. This is an ongoing issue, and it's also not just Division I as well. I mean, we receive and investigate threats of harassment, of violence on all playing fields, on all playing courts, on all divisions. And you actually somewhat see more messages, threatening messages, even in Divisions 2 and 3, because it might seem to the person who's doing this that would be more hidden. But the messages come through, yes, perceived threats, violence, anger, but you also do read threats that are threatening physical harm as well. So it's something that we take very seriously, but we all should.
Does this transcend collegiate athletics? Does it apply to high school and pro as well?
Well, yeah, I think so, because if we really boil it down, Jay, I mean, it's bullying, right? And I think we can all get behind that. You know, no matter what your thoughts are on should gambling be legal or illegal, or should student athletes be able to bet on or not, I mean, we can all get behind that. Threatening violence, bullying, online bullying is wrong and harmful and shameful, and that's what it is. So yeah, it can trickle down into younger ages as well, especially because those age demographics are probably using some of these online social media platforms at an even higher rate. So yeah, it's something that is starting early, and it's based on the growing availability and accessibility of the growing amount of wagers that can be placed inside of sports betting.
So if I'm a guard at the University of Dayton, I could potentially receive a threatening email telling me that if I don't perform to a certain level, maybe even a very specific level, then something could happen to me. Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking about that, but more so in the response to a poor performance. So if you are to use your example, a guard at the University of Dayton, and you don't perform well, it's then the follow-up. And we see things, you know, I don't want to go too into detail here, but you see things about, you know, you should die, or I'm going to do X to one of your family members. You cost me this much money. I'm going to come find you and get it back.
Well, and that seems to be what it's all about, is I placed a bet. I lost the bet. It's your fault.
That is 100% accurate, yes.
Okay, so explain to our listening audience what prop bets are and why they were removed.
A prop bet is a bet of any type that you make on an individual's performance as opposed to the outcome of a game. So we're talking about not Ohio State will beat Michigan. We're talking about the Ohio State quarterback will throw for X number of yards, or the Michigan running back will run for X number of yards or touchdowns. People really enjoy those in professional sports because it's more ready, right? You can see the build up to the win as opposed to placing a wager just on the outcome of a game. And also you can place various wagers on maybe your favorite players, right? As opposed to a whole team. That becomes extremely problematic in college sports because, one, if you were to lose that wager, it's not based on the entire outcome and the 50 players on the field. It's based on the poor performance of one individual player. So that's where it becomes very blameworthy.
Oh, and exceptionally personal.
Yeah, so that's why you see, I lost this money because you weren't good enough today. I'm blaming you. Maybe even I'm coming to collect, right?
Yeah.
But furthermore, why we were one of the first states to take the stance on no more, and we did it very quickly. Within 6 months of legalizing sports betting, you know, with the support of Governor Mike DeWine, we said no more in terms of individual prop bets for college athletes. And that's because, let's think about it, the majority of college athletes aren't even old enough to gamble themselves. They're 18, 19, and 20 years old. However, we allow them to be gambled upon. So they really become right? They become almost like a day trading acquisition, right? Which is why we've gone to the More Than a Bet campaign to humanize student athletes. They are more than just your bet.
Right. They're not commodities.
Exactly. They're playing for passion and glory, and the vast majority of these student athletes are not going to be professional athletes, right? It's about 1%.
Right.
So we wanted to take away that personalness, that blameworthiness by not allowing individual prop bets in college sports for those reasons.
So what are the college athletes and coaches saying about this that you've talked to? How do they feel?
They feel like it's a sense of protection. I mean, the coaches that we've talked to are very much in favor of it because they saw firsthand what their young men and women across all playing fields were experiencing. So I was a student athlete. I mean, I know just the added pressure simply just to win, right? Or keep up your grades, to want to do well for your teammates and coaches and for your school and your university. That's enough pressure. But to know that people are betting money on your performance is huge. That's a huge added stress. So the coaches are really supportive of eliminating individual prop bets, and many of them would go as far as to say just not having any college sports betting in the state. I don't think we're ever going to get there. But then the athletes, one more added, support we have is right now we're piloting a mobile application called the Athlete Wellness app. And we're just piloting it with Ohio State University. But this is an application that student athletes can have on their phone, and they can anonymously, confidentially submit a threat or an abusive message that they have received, and that comes straight to the Casino Control Commission, and we have our investigation team look into it so they can feel a sense of security and a sense of support when they receive these messages.
We want to thank Mike Bizelli from the Ohio Casino Control Commission. There is more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
I hope you're ready for all the Jackets talk you can handle. Join us Wednesday night at 7 for the Inside Edge.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida. Discover the real Florida magic at visitcentralflorida.com.
The Fan.
Your family can enjoy a complete meal for a good deal less at Meijer. Prepare a delicious feast with Meijer brand pasta or pasta sauce, only $1 each. Fresh from Meijer, 80% lean ground beef is ground in-store daily and is now just $3.99 a pound for a 3-pound package. Select Meijer chips or buy 3 for $6 when you buy 3 or more. And assorted varieties of Purple Cow ice cream are just $2.99. We're working hard to help you save more on a good deal more at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 or free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March? What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind, to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas where they'll compete for $10,000. Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light and watch some hoops on Saturday afternoon as they take over Pastimes Grandview and Grandview Yard. They'll be there from 2 to 6 p.m. and have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes!
That's you taking another sip of your Do the Dew.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together,
established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
The Toledo Mud Hens are a legendary minor league baseball team in Ohio playing in the International League with a history that dates back to 1896. Since 1987, the team has been the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers. Matt Melzak is the new Mud Hens play-by-play announcer for the 2025 season, replacing veteran Jim Weber, who sadly passed away in 2024. We are sorry for your loss. Congratulations on your new job, and welcome to Ohio Sports Magazine.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
2025 is a year of new beginnings as Gabe Alvarez becomes the new skipper. How does his style differ from that of Tim, and I hope I don't butcher his last name, Fedorowicz?
It's Fedorovich, but yes.
Fedorovich, got it.
Yeah. I think it'll be a little bit different just in the aspect of Gabe Alvarez is a former infielder, whereas Tim Fedorovich was a catcher. I don't know if the styles will change so much game to game as far as if you're looking at managerial and how they're going to handle things, because, you know, they do things set ways in the minor leagues. They need the X guys have to pitch, or, you know, they want to make sure this guy is playing his, position per day or rotating around. I think the big difference will be is just the amount of infield prospects that the Tigers have currently. I think it makes a lot of sense to have Gabe Alvarez as an infield guy, working with those guys daily in Toledo to make sure they're ready to go for Detroit. It just depends on who's going to be here, but I think that, he's shown in his time the last couple of years at the AA affiliate in Erie, where they've won a couple of titles now, that he certainly knows how to manage. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's just the maybe the player aspect and how he has guys ready to go for the big league level.
The Detroit Tigers have had quite a turnaround, coming off a 114-loss season in 2019. They had their first year over 500 since 2016 last year. And a lot of that has come from players who have moved up the ranks from the minor leagues, including the Toledo Mud Hens. Does that account for the disappointing 2024 campaign that the Mud Hens had?
I think it's hard to look at records, so to speak, at the AAA level, just because of the amount of movement that goes on between AAA and the major leagues, and that's all across the board. Because you can have, a set roster for a while, and we did a good start last year in April, one of the better teams in AAA. But then as the injuries mounted for Detroit, and we saw the changeover with a lot of players going up and helping out, now all of a sudden your roster's not as good in Toledo, and you start to lose games. And we had a big swoon in June and through a good portion of July that ended up hurting the record overall. So, those couple of months where maybe your roster isn't quite as good because of the fact that a lot of your better players are up helping the Tigers, the major league level can certainly affect it. If they're healthy and have a lot of don't have as many moving parts, we're going to be probably good as well. And that just the two seem to go hand in hand an awful lot.
We talked a little bit about a plethora of infielders who are exciting and have the potential to lift the entire franchise. When you think about players that looked really good in spring training so far this year, who's going to be exciting to watch on the Mud Hens?
I think you got to look at a guy who's 22 years old. His name is Ha-Yu Lee, and he is a guy that they picked up out of Pittsburgh 2 years ago in a trade. He's a guy that can really hit the baseball as a second baseman. I think he's the guy that, his bat is going to be his calling card. He's somebody that I think we're really excited to see in Toledo, and it sounds like he will be here for the Mud Hens. So obviously they still have a couple weeks left of spring training to figure that out, but I have a feeling we'll see him, and he's one of those guys that I think we're really, really excited to see in a Tigers uniform or a Mud Hens uniform and then a Tigers uniform. Just the way he can hit the baseball and command the strike zone. It's an exciting prospect that comes in. I think Baseball America has him number 12 on the Tigers top 30, but he's a guy who's going to be in Toledo to start the year. And then I think you look at some of the pitching guys. We could see a Brant Herter right out of the gate who helped the Tigers last year during their late run. So there's going to be some good names in Toledo this year, at least to start the year.
In terms of family entertainment, with tickets starting as low as $17 a seat, the Mud Hens have always been a fantastic value in the Glass City. Is this why the team chose to build a schedule this year that focuses more on weekend games and holidays?
Yeah, the major leagues does a lot of our scheduling now, and with the 6-game weeks, you're basically a week home, a week on the road. So it depends a little bit on where the schedule falls. Now we're getting the good, we got some good holiday dates this year, and the schedule's favorable in a lot of good summer dates for this summer. So it's going to be, it's that the schedule is certainly playing in our favor, but we found that, this is a team that continues to draw, Jay, each and every year. And I think it's because of what you talked about. It's the affordable fun during the summer that you can have coming down to the ballpark. And, Fifth Third Field has been voted as one of the better ballparks in the minor leagues for years and years and years. It's a great little gem in Toledo. Wherever you're listening across the state, it's not that far to get to Toledo. It's a great ballpark to see, from, sitting in the Roost area down the right field line, the overhang there is just a great view, voted as one of the best of minor league baseball. And, whether you're out in the picnic area in center field or just taking in the game from, the concourse level, there's not a bad seat in the house. It's a great place to watch a ball game. It's always a lot of fun, and they do so many great things. Our promotional department of having other events that go along with the games.
Well, thank you, and good luck on the season to Matt Melzak and the Toledo Mud Hens. And there's more Ohio Sports Magazine coming up right here on the Ohio News Network.
Bex recognizes this week's player with heart, Hunter Mulfeld from Bryan High School, for his commitment and passion on the field and within the farming community.
I love the thrill of the game and the people around it. It gives me an adrenaline rush that I love, and the people around it make it fun and enjoyable to play.
Yes, Hunter enjoys the bond and the competition of playing high school sports, and it's a very similar feeling in 4-H.
It's taught me a lot about responsibility and time management as well as priorities. I really enjoy doing that. It's a fun activity for me, and I see it as almost a little sport as well.
Through all these things, he's learned the importance of agriculture.
It means a lot to my family and where we grow up around here. It's kind of a lifestyle way that my family kind of feeds and lives off of. It's kind of a way of living, a way people can eat for others, so it's big.
At Bex, we are and will remain farmers at heart.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Feeling the aches and pains of everyday life slowing you down? Introducing Blue Emu, America's #1 emu oil formula for pain relief. In a recent clinical trial, 91% of users saw improvement after using Blue Emu. Whether you're working hard, playing harder, or just staying active, Blue Emu penetrates deep to relieve joint and muscle pain fast. And best of all, you won't stink. Join the 91% who felt the difference. Find Blue Emu at your local retailer or online. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now, let's check in with Matt Andrews for this week's Ohio Broadcaster Roundtable.
Welcome back to this week's Ohio Sports Magazine. My guest this week is my friend and broadcast partner on Buckeye women's basketball, former Buckeye great Katie Matter-Henniger is our guest. Katie, you, once again, in 4 years, you've been joining us for games. Your experience with this first Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis, just your thoughts on that.
I've enjoyed, the 4 years calling games with you and Kristen, but I think the Big Ten tournament is always special and had yet to be a part of that. So not the outcome we wanted, obviously, in Indianapolis, but a great experience being with the team and being a part of that venue.
You can't really judge it off other venues, but you did go to a regional with us a few years ago. Indy does it the right way, don't you agree? And just the positive nature of that city right now with the Big Ten in general.
Yeah, I think they do it very well. Just the city in general, I think everything is very close to the arena. I think the arena itself is a great place to play. I think the crowd is right on top of you, and we saw that even with a mixed crowd of all types of schools there. I think the crowds were great all weekend long. But yeah, Indy's definitely doing it right, and they seem to have the right recipe to host the tournament.
What do you remember about playing in the Big Ten tournament when you were a Buckeye in Indianapolis?
Well, at that point, it was Conseco Fieldhouse, but I always enjoyed playing there. It's a shooter's gym, in my opinion. But
says the shooter.
I think, says the shooter, right? But I think, that arena, I think, is special, and I think it is made for basketball, and I think that's what makes it part of a great experience there, not only for the teams, but for the fans as well.
Katie, the Buckeyes won one. They lost one game in the semis to UCLA after beating Iowa. Where is this Buckeye women's basketball team, Katie, as you go forward and we go further in March into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think the team has made great strides throughout the season. I think you've heard Coach McGuff talk all year long of not putting 40 minutes together consistently, and I think we can still do that. We still are a young team, but we've shown flashes of greatness, and we've shown flashes of what it looked like against UCLA, and we didn't play that great. But building off the Big Ten tournament, we had a gritty win against Iowa where we had to tough it out, and we ended up winning by 1. But now we need to really kind of reset in the next week and a half and figure out where we want to go for the tournament. And, you have to take each game as it is, and you can't look past it. So hopefully that's what we're doing the next week in practice.
Don't you feel like this team is kind of right on that bubble line as 4 or 5, and whether they'll host or not, it's a little uncertainty right now?
Yeah, I think depending on which one you look at, you could see us as a 4 or 5. I think obviously the goal is to host, and hopefully we are hosting. But if we have to go on the road, we're ready to do that, and hopefully they have a bit of a bitter taste in their mouth from the Big Ten tournament there in Indianapolis this past weekend that we can take into the tournament and want to prove that we're better than our last game against UCLA.
Former Buckeye Katie Matter-Henniger is our guest on this week's show. Katie, how critical is it for this Buckeye women's team to get some solid on-court leadership as they dig into this March run?
I think that is key to this run. I think it's been key all season. Losing J.C. Sheldon last year, who is going to step up? Cody McMahon has done that in spurts, but who is going to step up and put this team kind of on their back and willing to lead them into the tournament, whether we're playing well or not well? Against Iowa, I thought Cody did a good job at the end of the game, stepping up and making those free throws. So I think I would look to her to be the leader as we go into the postseason, but it's going to take everybody rallying around her as well.
Katie, not saying you ever had a tough tournament or tough games in the postseason, but Jelani was just amazing as his freshman year went. The Big Ten co-freshman of the year. We speak of Jelani Cambridge, obviously. What about her struggles in Indy? How quickly can you kind of put that behind you and grow and learn and move on from that?
I think she's done that all year, where if she doesn't have a good game, she kind of does put that in the rear view and moves on to the next and can have a great game the following game. What players are keen in on defensively on her is if they can get back in transition, she has to be able to facilitate the rest of the team. And that's where I really thought that, they did a good job taking her away, both Iowa and UCLA, and she wasn't a factor. But we have to be able to get other people the ball, and she can still be, the primary cog in that. But I think obviously she's a Big Ten freshman of the year. She's had a really great season that she can build upon. But we definitely need her to score if we're going to continue to win in the NCAA tournament.
Katie, what was the impact you saw from the 4 new teams, specifically the 2 from California, UCLA, USC? One wins a regular season, USC. One wins a conference tournament, UCLA. The impact they have and have brought onto this women's stage with the Big Ten Conference?
I think they've definitely elevated the competition level, and obviously their ranking speaks for themselves. And, we played UCLA twice and USC once, but they definitely have a lot of talent. And, I'll give them credit because they spent a lot of January and February on the road on the East Coast and in the Midwest. And to be able to continue to, produce and win games by spending that much time on the road, I think is just a testament to how they are as a team. But I think as a whole, it has really elevated the league. I think if you look at some of what people think are going to get in the NCAAs, we might have 9, 10, 11 teams in, which is outstanding for the conference.
I'll leave you with this. You've got a great business, Rogue Fitness, obviously. Your last few weeks, maybe your last few months, part of your year certainly, has been kind of focused along with Buckeye basketball on the Arnold here in Columbus. the role that Rogue Fitness has and what all entails with what you guys do for that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think the last month has been a bit chaotic for me, but I'm okay with that. You know, the Arnold is one of our primary pieces for the year, and I think if you look at what Jim Lorimer and Arnold Schwarzenegger have done in building out the Arnold, Fitness Festival, it's just wonderful for the city. And because we're ingrained so much in this city, just being downtown here with our HQ. It's only natural that we support that event. We have supported 12 different sports. I think they had a couple 100,000 people come through over the weekend. And I think it's really important for the city to hold on to that and to keep it as a marquee event throughout the year here in Columbus.
Well, I've got to go get a lift in with that knowledge, but I appreciate your time, and we look forward to whatever is next for the Buckeye women's basketball team, Katie. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh, no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
For 100 years, our passion at Atlas Butler has been helping people. From those who have relied on us for years to those who call us for the first time. For our team, their families, and our community, Atlas Butler is here to keep Central Ohio safe and comfortable with trusted, convenient service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life, so you can bring home more perfectly plump and flavorful produce picked for precise freshness, beautifully marbled, beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef, and more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good, but bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. Get ready for a cool start to your Sunday as temperatures tonight drop down into the low 30s. But other than that, very nice weather. Lots of clear skies, and we'll be back in the mid-50s by Sunday afternoon. We'll drop down in the mid-30s Sunday night, into the 60s on Monday. Sunny skies continue into Tuesday as temperatures get up near 70. In fact, most of this week looking quite warm and pretty quiet for the weather. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan. This is ONN.
It's a wild time in college athletics. Starting July 1st, schools can begin distributing their athletic revenue up to a certain amount to players within their athletic programs. This, on top of name, image, and likeness deals that are almost unaccountable, have made for an athletic landscape that sees many of the highest profile players earning more money per season than most of their coaches. Take, for example, quarterback Bryce Underwood. He's committed to the University of Michigan for their class of 2025. Underwood, a five-star, is reported to have received an NIL deal valued at over $10 million. The question has risen, who holds players like Underwood accountable? Paul Feinbaum covers college football at large for ESPN. He was on with Bo Bishop earlier this week on ONN affiliate WBNS FM in Columbus. Paul says everyone within college athletics is trying to figure out who's the boss in all of this.
It's a big concern, Bo. I mean, let me give you an example. Was it 3 years ago? Jimbo Fisher recruited arguably the best class anybody had ever had. They still couldn't win because he couldn't relate to them. And I talked to a writer yesterday in College Station. 2 players remain from the number one recruiting class 3 years ago. And the moral of the story is just because you have a five-star, and I'm talking to you, Bryce Underwood, that doesn't mean it works. Everyone doesn't. How many times it used to be on the first Wednesday in February, now it's in December, that we saw the can't miss five-star, the next Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, all wrapped into one, and they're bouncing around. J.D. Daniels, remember him a couple of years ago?
Yes.
He was at SC, then he went to Georgia. I think he ended up going. Somebody fact-checked me, to either 6 or 7 schools.
Didn't he end up at Rice?
I think so. I mean, I really lost track. He may still be playing.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the cautionary tale in this. But you think about, and I've had many conversations with Urban about this. I'm sure that you've talked to Saban and Kirby about this, and even going back to Bowden. Like, in the old days, like, you would butter them up to get them into recruiting. You'd hear players say, well, wait a second, that's not the guy who recruited me. But the coaches had the leverage. There was always the leverage of, well, you signed on the line, which is dotted. You can't go anywhere now. Well, now they can, and they're wealthy. So it's like, to me, when I think of the relatability, this goes back to Saban, Urban, all these guys. Anytime somebody said to me, oh, Urban's going to get back to coach, I'm like, not in this. He's not coaching in this circumstance.
But let me direct you to Kalen DeBoer. He was not at Alabama for 4 days, and he lost McLaughlin, Julian Sayin, and Caleb Downs all to Ohio State. So do you think he was going to lay the law down? Of course not, and that's one reason. Saban told me, I was with him once after his first season, which was really a bit of a bust, and he had suspended a player, and I said, what's the deal? He said, well, he just had to go. I said, you really did not suspend that many players your first year. He said, I would have liked to have gotten rid of about 80% of them, but had I gotten rid of more, the whole place, I would have lost the team entirely, and I wouldn't have been able to recruit. And recruiting was more important than having a good record the first year. That was 18 years ago, Bo, and they were already concerned about it. Today, they're scared to death.
Yeah, it's a wild time, and it's, they all made the bed, so like there's nobody to feel sorry for here, but it's a wild circumstance that they find themselves in. Spring football kicking up around the country at the moment. What are some of the questions that are most curious where you want answers for coming out of the SEC this spring?
I think the biggest question is, will we find out anything? Because I mean, the coaches are being so quiet. I was listening to Kirby Smart the other day, and he was talking about, right now we're planning on having a spring game, but if he sees a camera in the stadium on the day of the spring game, he's liable to cut it off. Because what the biggest fear is they don't want to put on a show for the next coach to come in and get a player. So it's not. I used to think they were concerned about other teams getting their signals. They don't care about that, not at a spring practice, but they are concerned about somebody seeing something just in a pedestrian play. And then they come in and say, hey, they're not using you properly. You can come over here to Iowa State and play.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Fish has been named the 3rd best sports program director in the country. Winner. The 2 dudes who finished ahead of him are dead. So we're declaring him the winner. You're listening to the home of champions, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not.
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be mean.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers.
And I'm the common man. Bob, is there something you want to tell us?
I want to talk to you about the spring bridal sale. It's going on now at Worthington Jewelers. Buy one, get one 50% off. The best prices of the year on natural and lab-grown diamonds. I got to tell you, I'm busy. I'm busy running a valuable store. My wife and dog are in the place all the time.
And I'm not busy at all. I'm just sitting here doing 3 hours of fart jokes.
Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
Look at that selection of outdoor furniture.
Yeah, whatever your space or budget, you'll find a setup for outside.
How about an outdoor chaise lounge for my...
Get some sun side.
Yeah, and a table for my...
Come on over, I'm grilling side.
And outdoor lights for my...
Date night on the patio side.
Ooh, you're good.
I try. We've got what you need to create an outdoor oasis. Plus, delivery starts at $19 when you shop online or choose to pick up at your local store today.
Go to IKEA-USA.com for more details. Restrictions apply. Some products may require assembly.
Unlock big savings and add style and security to your home with Schlage door locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered with more than 200 options of Schlage door locks in stock. Save big on all door locks. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Roll Up to Win is back at Tim Hortons. We're rolling out great prizes like a 2025 Ford Bronco, $500 daily jackpots, Xboxes, and more. You can earn rolls with your purchase of an eligible hot or cold beverage and favorite breakfast item. A whole new way to earn rolls this year. Visit your neighborhood Tim's and download the app for great food and more opportunities to roll up to win. No purchase necessary. Tim Hortons app required. See rules on app for details. Entered by 3/23/25. Sponsored by Tim Hortons.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And Bet and Reduce Juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
This is ONN.
Well, as we continue to monitor what's going on with the Cincinnati Reds in spring training in Arizona and the start of the season creeping closer and closer, who better to talk to than lifelong Reds fan Matt Andrews, the voice of the Ohio State women's basketball team, Ohio State baseball, sideline for football, all of that stuff. Let's begin, Matt, by just getting your reaction about the hiring of Terry Francona. Surprised?
Yes, pleasantly. I thought they needed something to change. I love David Bell. I work with David, as we've talked before, Paul, but I do think it was a surprise, and I think it's a great hire, and I think Reds fans are excited for his start for sure.
It certainly seems as though when you look at what Terry Francona has done, not only in Cleveland, but in Boston, a little bit of Philadelphia, that he seems to have the reputation of being a player's type of manager. Would you agree, Matt?
Yes, and the track record speaks for itself. I spoke with Dan Hort on this show a few weeks ago. He thinks Tito's worth 10 wins for the Reds, which is really remarkable from a managerial perspective. And, Paul, I'm not sure that that'll all come out to be accurate, but to have a guy in a clubhouse that is the player's manager, as you said, who has done it with a number of players and veterans. I think it's going to be a remarkable thing for the Reds going forward, and as they try to continue to, I guess, rebuild what they think they can accomplish.
Man, it certainly seems as though there were some people who were surprised that they made a managerial change. You know, David Bell, for a couple of years, he was really handcuffed because of injuries and things like that. So was that a surprise to you?
It was a surprise to me. And it's a different managerial philosophy, I think, than you're going to see with Tito. And I do think David was a bit of a player's manager, but I don't know that he has that managerial experience that Tito certainly has that is going to immediately win over his clubhouse. David Bell is a good man. He knows baseball. Obviously, his family roots, as you know, from Cincy are incredible. But I do think it's, while surprising, it's probably the right move for the Reds to make after what David was there 5 years or so, I think, and maybe a few more. And certainly as the manager in the minor leagues prior to that, he had plenty of experience, but not the level of Tito.
One of the things that we probably never really will know, Matt, does Terry Francona's presence, has it and can it affect what the front office does with some of their moves?
Well, that was the thing when I think they hired him. My first thing was, okay, is this going to translate into the purses being open for the moves they need to make to get this talent that Tito's going to want, and probably in terms of returning is guaranteed that he's going to have some of that. So, yes, I think it's going to have to probably be a little bit of a pulling strings here and there for other entities within the Red system.
Well, Terry Francona has gotten so much of the attention. We can't gloss over the fact that Jonathan India was traded away after a couple of years of really thinking that he might be on the block, and because of the glut of infielders they had. So it's going to be kind of a different look around the inner part of the diamond, isn't it?
It will be. What will they do with De La Cruz? Will he be infield or outfield? What will they do with the injury here in spring training of Spencer Steer? I'm looking forward to catching up with some of the Reds folks that are out there right now, trying to figure out a little bit more of that. But while I'm not fully invested in the start of the year, I am intrigued to see how it gets going for the Reds. As they in the spring, they've certainly done an admirable job over there in Arizona, but it's an exciting time, Paul, and I think that the Reds fans are itching for this start here in a few weeks.
Part of what's exciting about it is that the combination of newcomers as far as players and returning players who maybe need to step up.
Absolutely, you can't keep the same group by and large. The same nucleus, and not expect that there needs to be more production from those veterans. And that's one of the great questions, as you know, with the great game of baseball and a long season. Will the health be there at the start? Will the health be there later? All big questions as they embark on another campaign here.
Well, before we get to baseball, we're all still dealing with college basketball. And you just finished with the Ohio State women's team, the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. And one of the things that we've crowed about on our broadcast, and I know you kind of subscribe to the same thinking, and if you would talk about what it's like when the Big Ten tournament is staged in Indianapolis and how that is a better setting than any place they've ever had.
Absolutely, where it should be. And honestly, Katie Motter-Henniger worked with us on the games this week. She played in the first Big Ten tournament over there at Hinkle Fieldhouse. But it was Katie Smith as well, talking about those games being over there and just how it's the right city for us. Obviously, we're very biased because we don't have to get on we do have to get on a plane. We don't get on a bus when we go to Minneapolis or wherever it's going to be. Vegas is coming for the women, and I think the men as well. But just being able to drive over there, to have the fan base somewhat there, to stay close downtown, to have the great hotels, and then all the amenities in terms of sports facilities and places to eat. It's awesome being there and being in a walkable environment.
Thank you. That was going to be the point to make.
Walkable, not called Chicago, because you can walk in Chicago at your own risk, but you can also but you can also walk a long way, but not in Chicago. That's right. Indy is completely different, and I will tell you, and I look forward to you guys being there this week. I think that they have really fine-tuned it to where they realize, hey, we've got to make this a national production. with the West Coast teams being in. And I felt like it was a very, very well-run tournament in Indianapolis this year.
Matt Andrews, thanks as always for your wisdom.
Thank you, Big Daddy.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Bex recognizes this week's player with heart, Hunter Mulfeld from Bryan High School, for his commitment and passion on the field and within the farming community.
I love the thrill of the game and the people around it. It gives me an adrenaline rush that I love, and the people around it make it fun and enjoyable to play.
Yes, Hunter enjoys the bond and the competition of playing high school sports, and it's a very similar feeling in 4-H.
It's taught me a lot about responsibility and time management as well as priorities. I really enjoy doing that. It's a fun activity for me, and I see it as almost a little sport as well.
Through all these things, he's learned the importance of agriculture.
It means a lot to my family and where we grow up around here. It's kind of a lifestyle way that my family kind of feeds and lives off of. It's kind of a way of living, a way people can eat for others, so it's big.
At Bex, we are and will remain farmers at heart.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, you might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNRadio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
As I travel the state talking with parents and educators, it's clear that just about everyone, regardless of political affiliation, zip code, or background, wants our students to have the resources they need to succeed. No exceptions. Tell your Ohio lawmakers to keep their promise to our students and fully fund our public schools in this state budget.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now let's get some highlights from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Here's producer Bodie Wells to set the scene.
Thanks, Jay. On the show this week, the guys discussed whether or not the Myles Garrett extension was the right move for the Cleveland Browns.
And now Myles made very clear he wants to win. And I've said on the show, he was going to sit down with me 2 years ago and lay out how unhappy he was. So I know this wasn't a negotiation tactic. He truly wants to win and has been unhappy with the direction of the Browns. But they threw enough zeros at him to make him say, well, all right, 40 billion a year, as you said, Tyvus, 40 billion a year is hard to turn down. It's hard to walk away from that bag. But what are you really buying here? Because the desire to win isn't going to go away. And no matter how many checks you cash, it's not going to change if he truly wants to be here or not. And I just think that you need to, when someone tells you who they are, listen to them. And the Browns refuse to do that. They're just going to keep throwing money at these guys. And you can't, the Browns have spent over $1 billion in cash the last 4 years on their roster. How many playoff wins do they have for $1 billion? Zero. So don't tell me that it's all about spending. It's not. There's a lot more to building an NFL team, to building a franchise, to building a culture than just throwing money at guys. Yes, spending is important, of course. Of course it's important. And in the right circumstance with the right culture, Jimmy's checkbook should be the best weapon in the NFL because there's not many owners who will do it this way. But it takes more than that. And we have all the evidence we need to see that. So I don't know why this is so controversial of a take to have, that I think they should have traded him. Not because he requested a trade, because it was the best interest of the franchise.
To catch the full breakdown, just search for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and enjoy their daily content covering all things Cleveland sports. We'll be back to wrap up this week's Ohio Sports Magazine show here on the Ohio News Network.
Common Man and T-Bone.
In a different life, I'm a farmer. If I were another person in a different life, somewhere in another dimension, there's Farmer Mike.
Okay.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hi, I'm Bob Capace.
No, I'm Bob Capace.
It's more believable when I say it. Make me believe that you're really Bob Capace.
The spring bridal sale is going on now. Buy one, get one 50% off. The best prices of the year on natural and lab-grown diamonds are right now at Worthington Jewelers. On High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com.
Needs work. I don't really buy it.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's the limited time tax sale. You buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, plus no interest until 2030 and an extra $500 off only in March. Call them today, 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Thank you to Matt Melzak from the Toledo Mud Hens and Mike Buzelli from the Ohio Casino Control Commission for being on this week's show. Thanks to all of our Locked On podcast contributors this week as well. For Bodie Wells, Eric Reeser, and Paul Keels, I'm Jay Fox. Thanks for listening to Ohio Sports Magazine. Join us next week right here on the Ohio News Network.